Department we have tonight is the sheriff. The sheriff, it's all yours. Basically what most have been doing is going through any major increases or decreases from the previous year.
Well, revenues are down dramatically. As we expected it to change.
I got a packet of information for everybody.
That would be great.
Just set your major drop in the revenues is avoiding of prisoners. And a good chunk of money we're losing in phone revenue probably next year because the laws are changing. The federal government's getting their hands into the regulations of the phone calls that are made from all jails, and they want to reduce the amount of money that phone companies can charge inmates for phone calls. So it's going to dramatically reduce our revenue there. And the inmate issue, there's no inmates. We're down to 70-something inmates in our jail. I think by tomorrow we'll have 4 beds. Nothing. We're not the only one.
Is that because of less crime? Or
Less crime.
less crime?
No, it goes back to some of the laws that have changed. A lot more federal prisoners are let out of jail now, and they've changed the laws, federal laws, before they were putting them away, and now they're not.
Sheriff, excuse me, I'm having trouble hearing.
About the income
Yeah,
for the feds?
yeah. Well, I have a question a little bit later about inmate housing. But go ahead, I didn't want to interrupt you, it's just that I couldn't hear.
But just that, I was telling that the federal government had changed some of their laws, so they're not putting as many prisoners in jail anymore, in fact. And they've also changed where they let prisoners out of jail, the laws. So therefore, there's a lot less prisoners, less revenue.
I know that they come from Albany, from that district court. Are they going more to other jails, or?
We get Albany and Utica Court inmates in our facility, but there's just none out there. We're picking one up tomorrow, I believe, in Utica, in fact, bring back to our place.
Anything else on the rev? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Sheriff, you said you have about 70 inmates right now. What's capacity, including the new pod that you guys opened up a couple of years back?
Right now, on books, our maximum population would be 173.
173. Now, I don't know how you want to answer, but either as a percentage or a number, generally, what do you see in breakdown of where those prisoners are coming from? Who's directly from Montgomery County, federal, other counties?
Whether we got 70 or we got 160 in there, probably about 9% from the city.
And
That 173, excuse me, we can't house that many unless they're all ours and it's extenuating circumstances. The state does not want to have, they want to have like 8%, 7%, that's all they want to have.
Even if you had a facility that could only hold 140, they'd still only want you at 80% of whatever that number is.
Yeah. That's so you have the flexibility of moving people around. Because we have a 12-tier classification that we have to follow, 12 different classifications. So we have to be able to move people around so it fits the state requirement.
Has that number changed over the years, that percentage? Didn't we used to, a long time ago, weren't we like?
From the city?
No, like the 80% number you just spoke of?
No.
It's always been like that?
is this something, talking to other, Fulton County, other counties that have jails and upstate? Is this something that's systemic and they're seeing across the board?
With that, yes.
Yeah, okay. Just out of curiosity, do you, in, I guess, your opinion, see, obviously, a jail, if we were running at capacity or 70-80% and we're bringing in a lot of federal inmates, it can be an asset to the county, a revenue generator. Do you see, is there, in your point of view, a break-even point where it would be more cost-effective to shed the CO positions, the fringe benefit costs, and send local prisoners elsewhere and pay the fees?
Because you also got to, get the transport. It drives you crazy schedule trying to figure out. Right now, everything's fine. 2 minutes from now, this guy's got to go to that court, and I got to get people in, or I got to have people standing there waiting. So, yeah.
What were you saying, like, not to have a jail? Is
Well,
there a
yeah,
point where
it
you
just
say to
that
yourself,
they're,
don't have it?
let's say incarceration rates go down still, and we're back here, well, not me, but everybody else is back here next year looking and saying there's 50, 40 inmates. Is there a point where we say it's more cost effective to send those prisoners elsewhere for housing?
They won't let you do it.
If you have a jail?
room, you got to house your own prisoners. You cannot send them out.
But if you didn't have a room, like Herkimer County, they didn't have a jail for a while, right?
They have a jail right now, that's limited capacity that they hold. But,
We were getting somewhat scary when it was flooded, right?
nope, you heard them set them up there.
And there would be no mechanism to, let's say, mothball our jail and say, we don't have a jail. We've decommissioned it.
You can't do that. You have to go to the state and let them shut the jail, I'll tell you now.
All right, on
We tried to
the,
consolidate back in the 80s.
Yeah.
With 3 counties, the state told us.
So the only solution would be less incarceration at the local level, which would hopefully be driven by less crime, but
I believe one of the other factors, the reason why we have less incarceration right now, less people in our jail, is because of change of judges in the city. A lot of times we had people coming to our jail, because judges down there wanted to send them because they weren't happy with them. Current judges are working more with the people, and we're seeing less of them come to jail.
Sheriff, I can't quite remember this, but I think there was a time last year when he came to us for some additional expenditures, and really it was based on some of these anticipated revenues from inmate housing. And I'm trying to remember what those expenditures were for. But at the time, we had some pretty good, positive outlooks about the revenues from inmate housing. What was that for? What was that money spent for? Do you remember?
We have in each pod, we have a dorm, or a room that we use for multi-purpose. Well, we changed that room into a housing unit. We house inmates. That original capacity when we opened the facility was 163.
so our revenues are down. Let's talk about the expenditures. Where's your biggest differences in this year and last year, if any, or decreases?
So I'll go through real quick what you got. I think there's one that kind of breaks it down. Hopefully answers most of your questions. I think you should all have in the same order. The top page I have was the incoming grants. I did from 2014 just to kind of show we've got quite a few more this year. More than triple actually. The next page down is our expected revenues, our estimated revenues for 2017. Next one down is a graph that actually I prepared for the legislature last year, and I just updated it for this year. I kind of liked how it laid everything out as far as revenues goes, trend over time of our inmate housing. Every revenue we have coming into the sheriff's office over time since 2012. Following that is sheriff expenditures. So you actually see sheriff in one, jail, and then SIL. Each part is broken down and color coded red and green. If it's red, it's more than either previous year or last year. And then if it is more, there's an explanation to the right as to why we're looking for an increase. So we go through your questions of why some things are higher expenditures. And then as you go further in, orange color code sheet is about 4 budget lines. After that packet, black and white is about 2 budget lines. And then on the salary adjustments and things like that. So to your question about the ups and downs, you want to go line for line on all the red, or kind of a general overview?
I don't think we need to do every one, just the ones that are really significant, that, you know, major impact on the budget.
For the sheriff expenditures, there's a couple of large increases that we're requesting. One of them, the 4422 equipment rental and lease repair. We had a lot of maintenance agreements come up for warranty expired items. Things like fingerprinting systems that are required are extremely expensive. They have a very high dollar amount if they fail out of warranty or out of maintenance. The ammunition and taser line item 4449. Ammunition is going up. A lot of people are sending to training and increasing. The tasers that we currently have are no longer repairable, or year model that's no longer supported by taser. Actually, at the top of that list I skipped 2250. We're requesting, it seems to be the public request for body cameras for our deputies.
Do they have body cameras now?
Yeah, for, kind of like first generation.
We received some that were, I want to say they were around $60 a piece. They were down
Not
to,
a car.
we're down to about half of what we had because they fall apart.
That's not something that's mandated yet by the state. Probably coming, though.
And there were grants that I looked at going after. However, to get them, you have to match. You have to go to different conferences and things out of state. By the time you're done, for our small department, it wasn't worthwhile to do. We spend more on arming people out in these classes than actually on the cameras themselves.
Is the money that you put in there for the body cams cover everybody? Or is that half of the staff, or is that everybody, or?
So this would, I forget the exact number, we figured it out with a vendor on, they have a kind of a share, kind of explain it quickly. So kind of like back in the day, you used to be able to take a mobile radio and pull it out of the charger and take off with it, come back, put it back on the charger. These new ones are like that. You have a bank of them, you take one for your shift, you go off on the road, you come back, you put it back on the charger, you take a fresh one. So not everyone gets their own, it's auto-downloaded as they swap shifts. So I don't have to buy 12 of them, actually more than that, probably 30 of them. I don't have to buy 9 or 10.
Is that camera, video, whatever you want to call it, monitored by you folks, or is that a third party that does? How's that work?
And that's the other reason I like this one, is it downloads to our secure server, and so no one can monkey with it. The deputy can't delete it, you can't go missing, we go right to our investigators, and into evidence collection.
So we're not paying a third party to look at this stuff, this is all us.
Justin, what is it on the computer software?
The sheriff one. So we go to, got these pretty framed and broken down in the dot, maybe dot fours. So the first page of this packet. Some maintenance rules, everything in orange, by the way, is contractual or maintenance, yearly maintenance that we gotta keep up on. I think the largest chunk of it is, there's a digital sign renewal and what's called Power DMS, and something that I've got it split across all the budgets, something I talked to the county attorney about. It's an online, online. It's computer-based training. They do liability training, training on policies, procedures, and it's scored, recorded, so later on we can pull back and say, these are the people that attended this class, they've got the liability training, they got the training from the county attorney wanted to go through, they got workplace violence, they got all these things that are now requested of us every year to train all employees on.
The telephone lines and the computer internet connections, that's not in the bandwidth. Not extremely large numbers under 44011, that's not covered under Dan, normally data. I just want to make sure it's not a...
No, the Verizon mobiles, the data for patrol cars, those are the little air cards. The sheriff's office has always paid for it. The Earthlink, we requested that DPW pull that one over, they took everything else. They didn't want that because it wasn't terminated at county buildings.
The Frontier data,
Which budget?
it's on the 911.
Oh, that's
Oh, yeah.
revenues. It's
Oh.
paid for by 911 revenues. And I should have, everything.
Because there's two different things that I'm getting a
Yeah,
little...
sorry.
That's okay.
Everything in 911, just about. There's only a few lines that we can't use 911 revenue. It's your 911 earmarked revenue, not counting expenditure.
I got a question. Overtime pay, you're leaving that number the same, even though we had,
Well, you want to put 100,000 in?
no, but I mean,
We're gonna try, we're trying to hire people, we're trying to get the...
so we had a problem this year with it, and we're very close, or we're gonna run out, and is it,
Well, we're hurting Randy again, even with that movement in the jail. And what we try to do is steal the money from all the lines in the budget before we come back to the board and ask for money at a...
and I know you had a kind of an unusual year, like you were saying, you had officers, you had to camp out at Albany Med for days on end, and that typically doesn't happen, so you're hoping that if that goes away, you'll be okay.
Yeah, that's part of the problem.
What else? Anyone?
Question, Tom. With incarceration rates down, does the state have a recommended how many officers you have for what your occupancy is? So I guess what I'm getting at is, since we're having less prisoners in the jail, do we need less officers in the budget?
We have a staffing requirement, minimum staffing. They come in, they do an assessment of the building, how the building is designed, and, your amount of prisoners and what you do. And they tell you how many correctional officers they want you to have in the city.
Okay.
When we're low like this, we've actually shut down pods, move people, so we can utilize our people in other ways in the building, doing transports. But, you can say I can reduce people, but what if I get 10 people in, I got to open a pod, that means I got to bring the people back. So that's why.
So that minimum staffing level is dependent on the building and not on how many people are there?
Right, we have to go back to the state too, if we want to reduce the amount of people we have.
Is that a number you can share with us, what that what that minimum number is versus what we have employed?
We have 58 correctional officers, that counts corporals and sergeants and 10. And that's below, that's 4 below what we're required. So we have a variance in place right now where they said, okay, you don't have to hire those other full-time people, but you got to have part-time people working extra hours.
And the $800,000 that was budgeted last year for income from prisoners, just year to date, what is that on track or is that lower?
It'll be on the bar graph. It'll be on, it's 2 lines, 2264 added together with 3308. that's boarding and transports combined usually for total.
2264 and which other one?
And 3308,
So it's
117.
roughly 120. Right. So it was something that was realized very early on in the year, and it's been pretty consistent throughout the year.
Consistently well.
Roy,
A couple questions. The first one's a little on the lighter side. How many cells do we have for AdSeg?
Oh, we have, that's kind of a hard question to answer because we can lock people in cell one.
Oh, okay.
They're segregated. Okay? We have also, we call sub-day areas where they're even further segregated from people. They're not in general population, they're in a sub-day area behind glass, and then we can lock them into the cells to even further in isolation if we have. But that varies every day, and that all depends on the person. If they're dangerous to other inmates, or the inmates are threatening to hurt them, or we find a reason that they need to be locked in administrative segregation if they broke the rules, and they've been, like, aggressive discipline, they get to a point where now you're going to get locked in because you tried all these other things with you, and you get locked in for 30 days. In that 30 days, you have to review it. That's safe. Otherwise, we're going to let the person back out. You can't be locked in there permanently.
Who determines when they come out, back out if they're busy?
Initially, be the jail administrator. If there's a need for me to get involved, I would be involved.
What's that on lockup on Friday nights? Yeah, that's it. More seriously now, Sheriff, on your salary, that come from the agreement you were under prior to the election?
Oh, it's in there. Yes, if that agreement stays in place, that's what it would be.
That's what it would be.
That agreement was in place when I got elected, and then you pulled out, we settled with the lawyer.
All right. I would just, say, I know we've discussed it, and I think the sheriff and the county clerk, we said when we passed it that no one would get hurt, and I feel that the sheriff and the county clerk, although the clerk, it was within a couple $100 figuring, but I think the sheriff's salary, I would support this salary based on the agreement he was under prior to his election, and I would encourage the rest of the legislators to consider that. Thank you.
for this budget, I guess I'll ask Megan, because we just went through this, but with this budget, because the sheriff's in that elected term, we'd have to go through that request to the state.
Well, anytime you change a salary of an elected official during the course of their term, you have to do via local law,
I mean, the local law.
subject to permissive referendum.
That would hold true for this budget too, because that term isn't, when is your term actually?
End of 18.
What is it?
End of 18.
So you have to go through the local law process.
Right, and you can budget what you want, but you'd still have to go through the local law. Ryan? Oh, go ahead.
All right. So with the 2018, it's the same amount? Like the amount you have there, but that would be the same for
Well, that'll be up
2018?
to the legislators right now. If we pass it, that's what it will be now. And
But I meant as far as the old agreement, the agreement you were elected, when you, prior to your election. You know, off the
I
top
want
of
to
your
say
head.
yes.
Thank you.
Just a question, Meg, more directed to the county attorney. With, just procedurally speaking, due to, whatever can be in the budget, so there would be no required timeline for adopting a local law. Getting at, would that local law have to be adopted during, before, after, or doesn't really play along with that?
The change in salary wouldn't be effective until after the local law was passed. I went through all the steps that would have to go through for it to not be challenged to be valid before the new salary.
If I could butt in just for a second, if we didn't have the money allocated in the budget, and you still wanted to ask after for the local law, say to become effective February, you would just have to take money from elsewhere to put it in there. It wouldn't, I think Ryan's question is, it wouldn't prevent it from happening.
Right, right. I mean, you could, if you appropriated it now, you could do the local law whenever you wanted, and the money would be there. Or if you didn't appropriate now, you waited until, say, January to look at it again or whatever. At that point in time, if it was the original appropriation that you were to pass the local law, you would need to also do an appropriation at that time.
So it really isn't contingent on the budget.
Not necessarily, no.
Sheriff or Justin, can you update us on the vehicle situation, where you are, what kind of mileage you're, because I know we had the same discussion last year, and we talked about providing cars every year, but certainly that always
The
tends to
vehicle
be
you
the...
approved for this year,
Just got it.
we just got them all out of the plan.
You have like $70,000 in the budget this year for...
It's split across several lines. And it changed this year, which was a real challenge from where we used to buy Chevys, where kind of a lot of things came included, everything had to be separated. So it came out of,
We have to do what they call mini bids now, familiar with that? We didn't have to do those before.
it's fun. It comes out of 4431 for lettering, for,
Equipment, both now.
2250.
For like radio, all that type of equipment.
Yeah, 2230 is the actual cars. 2250 is the mobile radios, the lights, the sirens, safety cages, installation. And 2259, parts of that is the computer, actual computer itself that goes in the car, the printer, the ticket printer, the license plate scanner, the license ID scanner. So pretty much across those three, 2250, what's it ran at, and then the lettering and the 4431.
4431.
Barb?
Yes, I was just going to follow up with what Roy was saying. That's the non-bargaining, and it's supposed to come up in March before the elected year, unless that committee wants to change that, which you could do next month under personnel if you wanted to increase an elected salary and pass it by local law. So that's what you were mentioning.
Chairman?
Justin, or Sheriff. I was kind of hoping, we talked about the vehicles last year and trying to get you on a schedule or cycle. I was kind of hoping that would decrease the vehicle repair line item. Do you have any idea why that's still going up if we are replacing new vehicles?
Because we still drive, we drive a lot of miles. We have a lot of miles running on the current car we have. Today I approved getting the car fixed. We got 164,000 miles on it. The bill's gonna be like $1,600 to get it fixed, to get back on the road. And
Where is it, 13, 14?
car,
That car still will be in service once the new ones get here, or that one's coming off?
yeah.
So we're just covering the ones that are coming off the road because they're just not fixable. So we'll just catch our tail, really, 3 cars a year.
Okay, nothing else?
Do those cars have for the rear end collisions that protect the gas tank from exploding?
That's not the model. These are, we have predominantly Chevys. You don't have that problem. We're getting Fords now because the Chevy stopped making the model for police right now.
Weren't the Crown Vics always the problem?
Yeah.
Essentially,
They
they're
don't,
all for us.
they stopped making the Crown Vic. So we got away from that finish.
All right, thanks, guys. Nobody has anything else? We'll move into our